From LA Late headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Afternoons LA Late.
It's a big afternoon here on Afternoons LA. Good afternoon. Hope you're having a great day. In today's recording, we go over massive new stimulus checks landing for billions of Americans across the country. It's Black Friday stimulus checks. It's Thanksgiving stimulus checks. And today, more stimulus checks on the horizon. We go over the latest details on this money. Plus, we'll be looking at the financial markets and the latest turmoil today. Target. We talked about this earlier this year when I asked you to see less people in the supermarket checkout from Walmart and Target. Well, today, they had big problems. They had big problems, and their stock is down over 15% in just one day at the midday here on Afternoons LA. And how the latest details on the bad news hitting retail in the U.S. economy. Meantime, Mary Daly, featured on the shelves several times, she's the Fed governor out of San Francisco, spoke this morning. And she had new optimism of potentially not a Fed pivot, but potentially maybe a little bit of softening on the aggressiveness of those interest rate spikes. Oh boy, I have the latest details on her comments minutes ago. The housing market also had brand new data that came in for the sentiment of home builders. Not good. 11th consecutive month down, all the latest details across the board. But in today's recording on stimulus, massive amounts of money. We have the federal stimulus, nearly $300,000 of checks for you. 300 different checks, especially if you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, and railroad benefits. The lifetime stimulus, and you're going to see why you're going to have more checks than actually the cost of living accords. And then we go over to inflation relief stimulus checks. Plus, we'll be looking on the horizon of more stimulus checks. These are brand new. They're called NSC, Next Stimulus Checks. What's on the horizon for them in view of what's happening in the Senate? It's big news, it's big exciting, and it's also holidays LA. It's also holidays LA. And in today's recording, we go over how to decorate that table using a lot of luminescent, strong colors like the color red. All of that and more in today's recording. From the shores of Santa Monica, California, it's a big day. I'm excited you're here. We've got a lot to go over, and we're going to hit it with a big, bold, beautiful turkey leg. From the shores of Santa Monica, California, it's a big afternoon, and the excitement starts right here, right now, on Afternoons Holiday Edition. Good afternoon, everybody. Hope you're having a beautiful day. And earnings recession, of course, is the lead story with Target coming in, and it was not good news. It was not good news. Well, the latest teaser on that, plus the housing market, big data coming in, and it was, again, the 11th consecutive month of bad data. New data also today for inflation. Is inflation going to peak, or has it peaked? And what is Mary Daly's comments on that as well? You know, we're just days out from the latest numbers on unemployment. It's not good as well. And she also spoke about this, Mary Daly, today. Big news, all the latest details on that front as well. Plus, what to expect as the day and week continues. Big money. And in the big second half, we go over holidays LA. But for the shores of Santa Monica, California, good afternoon, and hope you're having a beautiful day. Let's get to the breaking news starting right now. The breaking news starting right now is that Target is really the bread and butter of the U.S. economy, and the butter is buttering, but not so much. Target reported numbers today, and they were horrible. Target reported that it showed a massive drop in earnings. How bad was this drop? Are you ready for this? First of all, the stock is down 15% in just a half a day. The trading is still going on today. Target reported that it saw a drop of its profits by 50% in fiscal third quarter because of slower sales. Not because of supply chain, not because of costs, but because less people buying. Oh boy, not good news. Discretionary spending, which is you and the consumer going to the store and spending for things maybe you wouldn't normally buy, like an extra pair of lobster shorts, did not happen. Good. No, I mean, it did not happen, says Hightower's Stephanie Link, who I adore. She said the target problems are discretionary spending. People are not spending money on just, random items that they would normally love to just sort of shop and look. They're not doing that. And the profit's down 50% in the third quarter because the sales are not happening. It's big problems. That's why the stock is down 15%. And this is the latest of what we've been talking about in recent days, retail implosion. The stock had closed 4% higher yesterday after rival Walmart had data and positive earnings report, but Target shares had fallen 22% this year alone based upon prior bad news as well. How bad was this? Let's look at the earnings. Earnings was supposed to come at $2.13 a share, came in at $1.54. Target Chief Growth Officer Christina Hemington says it's a precipitous decline. And frankly, we've not seen these trends since early part of November as well. Oh, and frankly, we are seeing these trends now in early November as well. So she says the problem you're seeing right now in the numbers they're reporting from the prior quarter are still happening in the store for those holiday sales. Ouch. So where is the problem from Walmart? Also, Walmart said apparel and electronics and similar items are not selling. This is what we had talked about. People are spending big money on travel and leisure. We know that from American Express. We know that from Bank of America. They say that spending for debt levels to take a trip and a plane flight and a hotel reservation are at record levels. And so with that, they were worried that people were not going to spend money on retail, on apparel. And remember, over the last few days, I've been featuring you the Consumer Price Index number for the prior month. That was the October number, and that showed apparel sales prices fell 1%. So the price of clothing got cheaper, and yet people did actually bought it less. Wow, not particularly good news. Mary Daly, who I really adore, she's the Fed governor out of San Francisco, spoke minutes ago on broadcast media, and she was asked some really good questions. Basically, would the Federal Reserve stop raising at 75 basis points? Would the Federal Reserve stop raising rates at all? Would the Federal Reserve stop at an inflationary rate higher than 2%? And would the Federal Reserve look at a different employment rate at issue across the board? Great questions, but her answers were even better. Now, unemployment is going higher. The Federal Reserve has to make sure unemployment does not get out of control. And she said she would be happy with an unemployment rate potentially of 4 to 5%, which is certainly higher than where it is right now. But she said she would be content with that because she thinks that's part of what's at issue when you're trying to fix massive runaway inflation at the Federal Reserve. Next, she was asked a great question, which was, what about getting inflation down to 2%? She said, maybe we'll stop at 5%. Oh boy, that's a major change, because if they stop at 5% for inflation instead of 2%, that means they could stop these interest rate spikes nearly a year earlier, early next year, not in 2024. Oh boy, folks, that is a big, shocking, developing details. Finally, she said, I look at forward-looking data. Forward-looking data. This is big news for you and I. Why? Because when we talk about the CPI, it's for the prior month, October. When we look at the PPI, prior month, October. But what's the data today? What's the data looking outward? And she says they do look at data looking outward. So don't think they're behind the times on that in numbers at all. Finally, we have the National Association of Home Builders showing big pressure from housing, and those numbers showed 37% of builders had to cut prices in November, this month, and that is up 26% from the prior month of September. Wow. So that is heading to nearly 50% of all builders are cutting prices on their homes this month, when it was only a quarter in the month of September. And Mary Daly actually spoke about this. She said that she sees the rent prices, which are 30% of inflation, coming down a lot right now. Let me go back to that just a second, because this is really fascinating. This is why I really like Mary Daly. I hope you like her as well. When she said they look at forward data, and she said the way they do is they go into the communities, they talk to the business owners, very just like how you and I talk, how you and I chat about, what are milk and eggs and what are rent. She says she goes into the data and into the communities, and they say the rent is starting to finally come down. I love her explanation, because remember, the consumer price index for last month was released just 2 or 3 days ago, and it showed rent went up nearly 1% compared to the prior month and 7% year to date. That's fascinating. So that is why you have to lead with the data, and you don't just lead with the data that's backward looking. You also look with the forward data of what's in the stores. I'm going to ask you some data right now. So let's go over some analysis, just like Mary Daly does with her community. If you go to Target, if you go to a Walmart, if you go to an Old Navy or a Gap or something like that, do you see less people in the store? Do you see less people buying? What about the checkout stand? Do you see less people selling? Do you see less people employed? I don't want to scare any of you if you work at Target, because I'm sure some of you do. And I don't want to scare you if you have friends or family that work at Target, but I got to tell you the news. And that's how we deal with the data, even sometimes when it's not good news. Target said that they're going to cut $3 billion in costs over the next 3 years. They would not answer where those cuts of costs will be. Jump in live chat. Where do you think they're going to cut $3 billion of costs in the next 3 years? I think you know the answer. The likelihood that includes laying people off is very high. When it's $3 billion, that's an enormous number. Of course, they did not say it's labor, but when the number is that so high, it prompts the question, will there be massive layoffs in Target? And there you go. That's why you have to get these big stimulus checks. And today we're going to go over these massive stimulus checks, 3 categories of them, and a 4th on the horizon. It's just really exciting news. The first one, it has 2 names to it. Or actually 3 names to it. It's federal stimulus checks, FSCs, but we can also call it Black Friday stimulus or Thanksgiving stimulus, because they're landing right now. They're paying out right now. $300,000 of checks, 300 different checks. And I'm going to show you how to get them in today's recording. Next, we go over 2 inflation relief stimulus checks, and they are beautiful. Then we go to lifetime stimulus. If you're on benefits, SSI, SSDI, it's incredible. These are 3 categories of checks, and hundreds of checks we're trying to go over with you over this 1-hour broadcast that are live, that viewers have been paid in every U.S. state across the land. I'm going to show you as a member how to get them. Go around this video, become a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Calcino VIP. But we're also going to talk in the second half about NSC, next stimulus checks. In view of what we saw historically with the Congress, with now a Georgia Senate runoff race in February, and the balance of power shifting to the Senate control by the Democrats with an extra 2 seats potentially, does that mean there would be massive stimulus coming in 2023? The answer is yes. All the latest details on what is anticipated in NSC checks as well in this big second half. But let's go back into this breaking detail. So Mary Daly's comments are really, really ground shaking. Why? We have not really seen any comments from a Fed president, Fed governor, in a long time that is any different off script. They've all said they're going to get inflation down to 2%. They're going to raise rates at the same rate or where they are right now until they get it to 2%. And they'll stay dedicated to that push until they get it to 2%. Those are the 4 points I told you to remember even yesterday. But Mary Daly's comments today suggest that maybe they may be doing something else. It's not a Fed pivot, but maybe it's likely something else. Number 1, that they may not be going to 2%, they may be going to 4%. Number 2, that they may not have to come in so fast and hard consistently across the board. So you're obviously going to ask me, is 75 basis point for the next meeting off the table? And this is more likely to 50 basis point. Her comments are starting to suggest that maybe it could be a 50 basis point. If I was to guess, based upon what I'm starting to see from Fed governors, not from Wall Street analysts, it's looking like a 50-50. It's looking like maybe there's a 50% chance it's a 50 basis point. There's a 50% chance it stays at 75 basis point. What do I think? If I was to roll the dice, I'm going to say if I hear another person like Mary Daly at the Federal Reserve say much the same comments in the next day or two, I'm going to go to 50 basis point. It's very exciting. Would we get this done sooner than later? Absolutely. So we may have these interest rate spikes done in early 2023, not in 2024. That impacts a lifetime stimulus later in this recording. And with that, let's get some stimulus checks. You ready? It's a beautiful day, and I'm excited you're here. The first three checks, of course, done by this guy, your President of the United States. Let's go into these big, bold, beautiful stimulus checks right now. Federal stimulus checks started with checks A, B, and C. There are 300 different checks, $300,000, but the first three checks passed by Joe Biden by executive action. Nearly $100,000 done in the month of March. Single individual, $75,000 less, you qualify. Married couple, $150,000 less, you qualify as well. And how do you get them? You go on this video, become a member, Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Casino VIP. Get these incredible checks because you qualify. Then came a Congress, and they passed more checks, nearly wonderful checks, starting at check E, bringing us to hundreds of checks passed by Congress. And I'm going to show you how to get all these incredible checks across the board. Then I found you check L and M, N and O, P and Q. And they're all in the LA newsletter, delivered from me to you Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time via the YouTube alerts. You go right down in that membership newsletter, and that's where you apply for the checks in the newsletter. So become a member. What are you waiting for? I'm going to show you how to get all these incredible checks as part of the Purple Power community in today's broadcast in just a second. The housing data today is indicative of where this economy is and where it's headed. The housing data showed this 11th consecutive month of declining confidence among home builders. These are people building homes, and their confidence levels are not good. This is the 11th consecutive month of a monthly decline of builder confidence, and to the lowest level of nearly a decade. Higher interest rates have significantly weakened demand for new home builders, as traffic is becoming increasingly scarce, says National Association of Home Builders. Jerry Conter, home builder and developer from Savannah, Georgia. So people are not buying homes, they're staying renting, and the landlord has more occupancy. This is as home prices moderate, building costs and labor materials have yet to follow, says Robert Dietz, which is interesting. He says some of the material costs have not particularly gone down. Where is the biggest drop of confidence levels across the board? New England, the Northeast, it fell 6 points. Midwest, 2 points. South, 7 points. And over here in the West, declined by 5%, by 5 points. The target data is really, really big trouble. And I got to tell you, this is what you and I were talking about just a few days ago. We did not want to see retail fall apart. We did not want to see retail fall apart because we knew travel and leisure was doing well. We knew that certain industries may be relatively flat. We knew that tech was sort of volatile. But we really want to see these numbers. Now, I want you to also know Lowe's Improvement Stores reported numbers also in the last 24 hours, and they were major beats. Now, Lowe's is very different than a Target, so I don't want you to think it is the same. Lowe's is home improvement, and people that go to Lowe's may be, people building a home. They're not discretionary consumers like you and I, that people try to make a profit on whatever they bought at that Lowe's to put into the home. Target is more like a Walmart, like a Dollar General, like a Dollar Tree. So jump in the live chat right now. More or less employees in the stores? I've seen it. Do you see more or less employees in the Target or Walmart stores? I've seen less employees in these retail stores, absolutely. How about the consumers in the stores shopping? Oh boy, I've seen the stores really empty, folks. I've seen those stores really, really empty. Now, I prefer online shopping a little bit more than in-store shopping lately. And I got to tell you, you used to go to your certain websites that you used to buy at, and I saw the inventory really fly off the websites routinely over the last few months. I don't see that anymore. The inventory is just sort of sitting there. And so you used to have to rush to buy something that was gone. What do you see? Are you seeing that as well? Are you seeing the inventory really just sitting around and not particularly moving? Here is finally UPS. UPS is reporting its planes are sometimes parked. They had gotten planes ready to ship those items for holiday sales, for holiday purchases, and they just don't see the demand yet for massive shipping. Wow, that is really incredibly shocking details. And with that, let's get some stimulus. Let's go right into those first three checks of check A, B, and C. Those first three checks of federal stimulus checks, FSCs, are from the president, from Congress. You qualify. And they start with checks A, B, and C. Let's look at those incredible checks right now. And they are just wonderful. Check A, $6,500 to $12,000. It is a fourth stimulus check in every U.S. state. Single individual, $75,000 less. Go get it. Married couple, $150,000 less. Go get it. And Spelly got this incredible check. Congratulations, Spelly. Give Spelly a big congratulations. And how do you get it? You go into this video, become a member, Purple Hawk, Purple Power Casino VIP. Welcome to the nearly 100 new members who have joined this channel in the last 48 hours. What are you watching? You're watching LL8, America's #3 most watched financial news channel overall, #1 for the subject matter. Broadcasting since 2020 on here. This channel now has 3 channels, LA1, LA2, and LA3, with 2 and 3 expanding in the next 24 hours. Are you excited for that? I'll roll out of the programming details for you tomorrow or potentially tonight of what's coming to LA2 and LA3. It is deliciousness. This channel has long form or short form, live and tape programs for you, and coming to LA2 and LA3 are all that programming I promise for you, and it's all a lot of incredible fun. Become a member, go right in this video, become a member, Purple Hawk, Purple Power Casino VIP, and then go down in the membership newsletter where you see check A and click the link and go and apply. But you're not done that yet. You're going to go get check B. Check B is a $15,000 to $80,000 forced stimulus check in every U.S. state. Single individual, $75,000 less, go get it. Married couple, $150,000 less, go get it. Why would you not become a member? It only costs a few dollars to become a member. And for just a few dollars, this is what's happening on a regular basis. People are getting thousands of dollars. Frank Mancuso got in just 30 days, 18 months of mortgage, 18 months of high-speed internet, 18 months of utilities. Folks, that is nearly $10,000 for just paid a few dollars in less than a month. Where else do you see a return on your purchase value like this channel? Just absolutely incredible. Another viewer out of Florida getting $80,000 to $100,000 of checks. It's just incredible. You want to get those big sums of money, go around this video, become a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power Casino VIP. Now, we're not done there yet because that's just check B. Well, next in the alphabet is check C, which is for rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, and more. And viewers from this channel have gotten $50 million since this channel launched around 2 years ago. And let's look at some of the incredible success stories for money for rent that viewers have gotten. Do you want $20,000 to $30,000 of rent? Go get it from check C. Do you want these numbers for utilities? Go get some check C. Lynn Glenn got it. She got 14 months of utilities. Another viewer as well. 2 viewers getting 12 months of rent. Utilities. Two viewers getting 12 months of rent just days ago. Snap. $250,000 over 10 years. Yes. That's what Mark's brother-in-law got, and on utilities, that same brother-in-law got $15,000. Combinations of checks. Nisi was at $23,000. She was to $50,000. Mark was at $32,000. He went to $50,000, then to $100,000, then $166,000. Lorraine was at $105,000, and then she went to $155,000. Dragon, longtime viewer of this channel, she was at $100,000, then she went to $177,000. We have Johnny, who started on Monday, and by Wednesday he had $45,000 for himself, but big success came thereafter. And he helped 20 friends and neighbors get $250,000. I had one viewer send me a beautiful message just last night, and I'll have it tonight on Evenings LA. I gotta remind myself, bring it on camera. She just got a brand new payout of money. It's just really incredible. Congratulations to Margaret. She keeps on getting money almost every week. I mean, she is just incredible. She bounces as a great Purple Hawk. Go under this video, become a member. Hit that join the button channel. Join LA1, LA2, or LA3 and get that incredible membership newsletter from me to you Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. Go down the membership newsletter, you see that incredible check, click the link and go right and apply. Make sure you subscribe to LA1, LA2, and LA3. It's free to subscribe. And make sure you have the alerts set to all on. Hit that little bell at the front of the channel on all 3 channels so you have that alert set to all on. One of the benefits of becoming a member is the membership newsletter, and that is in the and in the membership newsletter is the worksheets. Here are those worksheets. They are a PDF you can print out for your computer or cell phone. They are in the membership newsletter. And we're going to go over those worksheets tonight in prime time on Evenings LA. It's a great page in there to help you apply for these incredible stimulus. And with that, let's go back into the breaking news of what Mary Daly said today and why this is so important. And moreover, let me go over what's going on with the balance of power in Congress. First, let's go over Mary Daly's comments. If you take her comments literally, which I don't think you should just yet because she's just one person, she's not the entire Federal Reserve, it suggests potentially, and I'm not trying to do what Wall Street is, which is, invert people's words, it suggests potentially that maybe what they've been repeating verbatim for over a year may not be etched in stone anymore. Maybe they won't be waiting to get down to 2% inflation. Maybe they'll stop a little bit higher, number one. Number two, that the issue of the same repetitive interest rate spikes of 75 basis points may be a little bit too aggressive. Maybe we need to do 50 basis points and 50 basis points. Number three, that the data that they see in the communities may be more indicative of what they're doing their changes based upon than the CPI, PPI, and the PCE. Let me give you my analysis based upon what she said. And you and I know we focus a great deal on what these Federal Reserve presidents say. And when we do, we get it right. I mean, we really get it right because we listen to what they say, we repeat what they say, and then we compare to what they said before. So we absolutely are laser focused on it. I got to tell you, she's a somebody. She's not a nobody. And the comments are clearly different than anything we've heard before. That's pretty obvious, number one. Number two, it doesn't show a dramatic change of policy, but it does show a sentiment change. She made it very clear that consumer demand is coming down. She made that clear, number one. She made it very clear that rent is coming down. Number three, she made it very clear that the data you see in the community is not indicative or mirrored or displayed in the CPI anymore. I'm going to lead with the last one first. I think this is why you and I are so important together as part of this Purple Power family. When you and I talk about what's going on with the soda in the supermarket, when you and I talk about what's happening with the gasoline where you live, when you and I talk about how many people are helping you check out at Target, that's data today, right today. How different is that data than compared to my CPI data, which I had for you yesterday? The CPI is not November data. It's not today's data. It's not even this month's data. It's October's data. And, as early as October 1. So it is literally almost over a month old data. And if we're coming down as an economy, if the economy is slowing and the rate of slowing is exponentially picking up speed, sort of like a person free falling off a hill. If you're picking up speed and suddenly it's really coming down quickly, you need to really go into that community and get that data. Because if you think we're just sort of going down like this, and suddenly we're going down like that, you are really going to be behind the eight ball if you're looking at data that's a month old. And that's why I think it's really important for what you and I do on this channel. So in the big second half, we're going to do that again. We're going to go back into you and I and now analyze the situation and see if that mirrors what Mary Daly says and if that gives us indication of what we need to do to prepare accordingly. It's very important. It's coming up in the big second half. But first coming up in the big second half is more stimulus. We continue with those federal stimulus checks, those inflation relief stimulus checks, lifetime stimulus, and also holidays, LA. In the big second half, we go over how to decorate that table with a lot of just basic, wonderful luminescent items. So those luminescent items bring a lot of flavor and decorations. Plus, I'll go over why some of the decorations you can start now before Thanksgiving because they're very seasonally colored. It almost even shows up even more yellow on camera. There's a lot of green in here. It's even more seasonally approached. and how you can start those decorations now for Christmas, even before Thanksgiving, and it'll be applicable for both. That's the exciting details. I'll see you back as holidays midday afternoons LA continues. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LA Daily for the excitement of the new LA Live Daily. The excitement starts on mornings LA at 9 a.m. Home LA returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LA at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LA Late. And the excitement continues right now in the big second half of Afternoon's Holiday Edition. Hope you're doing well. In this big second half, we're going to continue with those big stimulus checks. Remember, the first one's done by the president by executive action, A, B, and C, of FSC checks, of that incredible Black Friday and Thanksgiving FSC checks. But along came Congress, and Congress passed more checks, E through K. And I have those incredible hundreds of additional checks for the Purple Power starting right now. Those incredible checks, E through K, are just huge. And let's look at them one at a time for you, the Purple Power. I hope you became a member during the commercial break. Go right under the video and join today. At check E, we have $7,500. Check F, $4,000. Check G, 30% off. Wow. Check H, $2,000. Check I, $8,000. Check J, $8,000. Then check K, $14,000. I love that. Then when we get to incredible check L, $100,000 on average of loan interest-free money. Check M, $4,000 of grant money. Check N is just insane. It's my favorite stimulus, as I said on this channel, for 3 months, but it all changed about 2 weeks ago. When I was on Mornings LA live on air, and I got to stimulus N, a brand new tablet, computer, or laptop, and suddenly I was in the live chat, and then a viewer, John Maloof, said he had gotten the stimulus N. I said, really? What'd you get? He said, the tablet. I said, congratulations. I said, what then? He said, and I'm watching you on the tablet right now. I said, my goodness. Well, it got even better because I said to John, go get more stimulus. And the next 48 hours, what did he get? $24,000 of stimulus. Wow. Now, why this story is so fascinating is because John Maloof, as part of the Purple Power community, got that check and I got that tablet, and I reported it on this camera. And his success story inspired a whole domino effect of success stories thereafter. He inspired Spelly, who you heard earlier in this recording, who got check A and C, and Spelly got the tablet thereafter because he heard John Maloof got one, and he said, I want one as too. Well, Lynn Glenn heard Spelly get one, and she said, Spelly got one, Maloof got one, I want one as well, and so she got it as well. So if you've had any success stories, send me a private message on Facebook. I'll feature it on air. And if you've had a success story, post in the live chat and congratulate other people when they do. Because guess what? This incredible spirit of motivation, sentiment, and fostering and caring for one another is infectious. Stimulus O, 0 down payment, 0 closing costs for a brand new mortgage. Stimulus P is 3% down and $8,000 of free closing costs. And those are your wonderful FSC checks, federal stimulus checks, Black Friday checks, Thanksgiving stimulus, all available right now. Some of the things we know about them that I also want to go over with you are great. First, largest check, 100,000. Smallest check, 8,000. Fastest routing time, 2 days. Johnny started on Monday, got $45,000 by Wednesday. He continued to Friday, got 15 applications in. Half of them disapproved, half of them approved, and he got $80,000. Then he helped those 20 friends and family getting $200,000. We have checks for home repairs, home appliances, car, computer, tablet, internet, and just incredible stuff. Just absolutely wonderful. Go right in this video, become a member, Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Casino VIP, and get these incredible federal stimulus checks. They're huge, and that's why people are walking away with hundreds of thousands of dollars of checks because they became a member of this channel. Next up is inflation relief stimulus checks. These are different because these are from your states. Average check, $1,000. How do you get it? You go down the membership newsletter, you see check D, like donut in the newsletter. Click the button, opens a brand new page, then go to your state, and then at your state it tells you the amount of the check, who gets it, and then a website to track it. Absolutely straightforward, but we're not done there yet. We're going to go to lifetime stimulus, because once your benefits go up, they never go down. And what do we know about that lifetime stimulus? Well, that lifetime stimulus is getting really exciting because you're going to get not just one raise, but potentially 4 raises. Let's look at the details right now. First, you got a 5.9% raise last year. That's what you're living on right now. You're going to get a I'm trying to remember my numbers. It's 5.9. I think it's 7.5% raise next year. But you're not done there yet. Guess what? Because you're going to have, well, if Mary Daly's wrong, 2 more raises across the board. This is why I'm pausing. Jay Powell's made it very clear. It's going to take it to 2024 to get rid of inflation. Well, Mary Daly's comments today are a little bit confusing because she's suggesting maybe they'll stop a little bit earlier, maybe 2023. So if that's the case, you'll get 2 more raises if Daly is wrong, and if Daly's right, 1 more raise across the board, which means you'll be at the highest level of benefits of a generation either way. And guess what happens at the end of this? So you'll be at the highest payout of a check of a generation in your wallet monthly, a lifetime. And the cost of living will come down to the lowest level of a generation at the end of this run with the Federal Reserve, which is either next year or the year after, depending on if you agree with Mary Daly, if you don't. Wow. See how data dependent we are on this channel? See how we lead with data? I'm showing you the Federal Reserve versus Mary Daly and how that impacts your benefits check. No one goes into this type of analysis for you anywhere, and no one learns it better than you. Now, one of the brand new categories of stimulus debuted on this channel in the last few days is NSC, next stimulus checks. Now, why are they at the end of the video? Because they're not law yet. They're not bill yet. But this is where we are currently with the landscape at issue. Number 1, the balance of power in the Senate is still up for grabs, with the Senate Georgia seat going to a runoff between Herschel Walker for the Republicans and Raphael Warnock for the Democrats in February. Number 2, several Democratic seats in the Senate have been almost finalized. And so it's looking like that if Warnock gets reelected, which it looks like he will, the Democrats will be leading in the Senate by 2 seats over the Republicans. But remember, the vice president has a seat in the Senate as well. So that would be up 3 seats. Why is the number 3 significant to you and I? Because if you eliminate Joseph Manchin and Kristen Sinema as seat number 1 and number 2, the Democrats are still up 1 seat. Basically, if you have a bill on the floor of the Senate and you think Joe Manchin and Democratic bill, and you think Joe Manchin and Kristen Sinema are going to vote against it, well, that doesn't worry you because you'll be up 3 seats. You can lose their 2 votes. So when would NSC kick in? 2 different possibilities, and I think both of them are likely. Number 1, an NSC check potentially to secure the Georgia Senate seat. The Democrats did this the last time around. In fact, Raphael Warnock did this last time he went to a runoff election last year. He said, elect me, I will give you a stimulus check. Chuck Schumer said the same thing, and you did get a stimulus check specifically because of that Georgia Senate seat runoff. So I think that is highly likely, and that is a stimulus check that would likely come to all Americans, including you, around early January. They would want to do it before you vote, or the people in Georgia vote, I should say. Number 2, and this is the big one, The big NSC is likely to heat up around February or March. Why? Because if everything happens exactly as planned, then the Democrats will have complete control of the Senate. And with complete control of the Senate, presumably they retain control of the House, then what happens? They can pass all that massive stimulus from 2022 that they wanted to pass, but didn't get it done because they had opposition from Kristen Sinema and Joe Manchin. So what would go in there? And why I'm pausing is I don't want to give it a name because I don't want to call it Build Back Better Act because Build Back Better Act got watered down. So I don't want you to think about Build Back Better Act. I want to talk about basically the totality of everything they want to put in there. I'm going to go item by item, price by price, person by person, starting right now with what is likely to go into these massive NSC stimulus for early next year. Number one, housing. I believe that the Maxine Waters provision of $25,000 towards the purchase of a brand new home would absolutely get in there. So if you're a middle income or low income household and you need to buy a home, $25,000 to go buy a home from the federal government absolutely would go in there. Number two, all those Bernie Sanders items for dental, vision, hearing, lowering the eligibility age of Medicare would all go in there. The dental would be dental care. The vision would be eyeglasses. The hearing would be hearing aid, as you all remember on this channel over the last few months. Next, the children. The president would likely get the CTC as a permanent law, meaning households that are low income for children under the age of 18 would get this massive $300 a month every month until they reach the age of 18. That is $3,600 a year per child. That child would not also get a stimulus check. And that brings us to the stimulus checks. All those Democrats that we would certainly advocate back to in early 2023, like we advocate in 2022, from Pelosi to Schumer to Sanders, all said that they were going to put in an monthly stimulus check, MSC. And the amount that Pelosi and Schumer and Sanders' offices had said to countless viewers of this channel was the following: $7,200 total, which was $2,000 the first month, $1,000 for consecutive months, bringing it up to a total of 6 months. That's about $7,200 total, one time, but paid out over 6 months. Absolutely incredible. A lot of other things were supposed to go into the incredible provisions of this law, and I believe those other provisions that would go into them are the following. I believe the money for the vehicle would go in there. They did not get the full extent of the refund or the credit for the electric vehicle. So you want to go buy an electric vehicle? They would likely give you a lot of money to go buy that electric vehicle because they didn't get it in as much as they wanted to. I believe the unemployment would get totally revamped because this came and then went and then came and then went. It's very likely that FPUC would become a permanent law. $600 a week additional from the federal government for every week you're unemployed. Wow, that's great news. Additional weeks of unemployment be paid for by the federal government. That's PEUC. And then unemployment coverage if you're an independent contractor, like before Uber and Lyft was categorized as not independent contractor. Independent contractor is someone who works for themselves, like a plumber or electrician, that you would qualify for that unemployment assistance as well. And then, business grants. I always forget to include that. I didn't include it yesterday. My apologies. So business grants, I think they would get them in there as well. That is also part of the landscape of everything that they wanted to get done. Which brings us to something I want to get done, which is holidays, LA. It's that holiday season. We're coming up on Thanksgiving. We are pre-Thanksgiving and also further out from Christmas, but don't let that dissuade you on your decorations. What I encourage you to do with those decorations is start putting them out right now. I encourage you to put out those decorations right now. So tell me if in the live chat, have you started decorating the home? There's two ways to approach this. One, this sort of seasonal, cool, wintry, fall coloring around the house. So let's lead with that. Here we go. This is a beautiful, I think it is clay. a yellow and green tree. Now, for some reason, you can't pick up the green. Maybe if I pull out further. Oh, now you can pick up the green. So if I pull out further, you can pick it up because the sun distilling the light. Here you go. It says green and yellow. I like it a lot because if you put it out right now, guess what? It exemplifies Thanksgiving. It has that beautiful foliage feel of Thanksgiving. It also has those Thanksgiving colors of yellow and green. I also like it because, it's a tree. Hello, it's a tree. And if you keep it out for the holiday season and all the way, now you can really see the green. If you keep it all the way out to through Christmas, it's just very seasonal because of the shape of a tree. Now, here is a topic we talked a lot about last year on holidays. It is the light, it is the colors, and it is the vibrancy of those tables in the home. And this is one of the ways I do it. Not so much the container, but what's in the container. Look at the inside of this container. Look at that. So what is that? Those are plastic diamond red items. I don't call them crystals because they're not real crystals, but they're plastic or they're glass. I think they're plastic or lucite. Let's go up a little higher in frame. There we go. And why do I love them? I love them because of the color. I love them about how they distill the light, and I love them about the vibrancy. So let's bring a few of them on camera closer to frame so you see what they're like. So look at that. I mean, look at it close to me. Look at it close to the camera. Look at what that does. It has a lot. You would think of it almost like a disco ball. It really distills the light. You're walking through the dining room, you're walking through the living room, you have guests over, you have the ceiling lights on. Imagine what this is going to do. It's going to reflect. It's going to reflect the light. It's going to pick up the light. And it's going to be red. Imagine red deflecting light. And, obviously red is a color of Christmas for many households. But it's also a color of sort of richness and decadence and vibrancy. And so I like something like this. Number one, it's cheap. It's very, very cheap. These type of plastic beads or balls are just cents on the dollar. You can get them on your Amazon or your Walmart. Number two, they're very easy to decorate. You just get a glass dish or a glass bowl. It can even be a porcelain one if you want. Put it on the table and just pour the beads in and you're done. I mean, that's decorating 101. It's just so non-committal. It's doing much of nothing, which is sort of like Mitch decorating. You just put out a ball and you put some beautiful beads in the ball. Now, yeah, you may say, well, the ball is important. It's not really that important, the ball. It helps. Now, I know a lot of you would take this up a notch. A lot of you will put a light in there. A lot of you put a candle in there. Some of you put Christmas lights in there. You can. I want to make it even easier for you. Just put it in a room in which there's a lot of lights. If you have a lamp near this, it's going to hit it. The light's going to hit it. It's going to work. If you have this near the Christmas tree, if you have this near the holiday lights, if you have it near the front door porch, it's all going to reflect the lights. And just have fun with it. Colors. Now, a lot of people are worried about, do you use this expression? This is an expression I use. Clown colors. No offense to clowns. I do not want to get hate mail from clowns. I don't like clown colors. I don't like clown colors. So an example of clown colors would be if I took red, green, blue, purple, orange, and threw them all in the same dish. I looked down, I was like, oh, a clown lives here. It's clown colors. So I don't, and I know I'm getting hate mail from clowns. It's clowns. You can do what you do, but I'm not clown. Not at least on TV. So I do not do clown colors. That does not mean, and I want to make this very clear. If you don't do clown colors, it doesn't mean everything is monochromatic. I mean, this monochromatic stuff is out of control. I mean, it started a few years ago, and now it's completely blasé. Everything is beige and gray and beige and cappuccino and antique white. Okay, I'm done with it. Let's get some color in here. That does not mean everything has to be a clown color. Let's look at the backdrop, for example. Do you see clown colors here? No, I mean, I got yellow. I got some purple in the flowers. Yellow and purple and orange. and then a little bit of white in the orchids, and then I got the yellow surfbird. So it's not. I am using different colors, but it's not clownish because they're all sort of in the same palette. Lay them out in front of you. Now imagine if I put a vibrant, massive red plant in there. It would stand out. These are all sort of in the same palette of colors. So you can stay in the same palette and have some fun, but don't do it clownish. Also, and one of the things I think will probably be another broadcast of Holidays LA is you don't have to do traditional holiday colors. A lot of people get caught up on this. Don't worry. You don't have to stay with the same motif in the whole house. Don't worry. Some people say, I want all yellow and gold. I want to do all yellow and gold. I want to do gold and silver the whole house. Okay, well, you don't have to. You don't even have to do the same room all gold and silver. Number two, a lot of people say that's not a very Christmassy color. Well, make Christmassy colors the way you want them to be. There's a lot of different ways to do Christmassy colors, and they don't have to be all the same motif. Let's use the orange, for example. Imagine if you did all the decorations in orange. There's nothing wrong with that. What they could say, it's a pumpkin Halloween. It's a pumpkin Christmas. No, I mean, you could just choose a palette and go with it. Again, you don't have to stay with the same color. You have to stay with the same motif, but I want you to stay in the same palette. So don't hit me with a really hard red against yellow, unless this is the McDonald's ketchup and ketchup and mustard Christmas. From the shores of Santa Monica, California, the programming continues this afternoon throughout the day. Afternoons every day is on this channel at 3 o'clock, brand new show. It is led by Holidays LA at 11 a.m. 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock is the first kickoff of afternoons. The second afternoon show is at 2 o'clock. And then meantime, please make sure you promise yourself that you become a member, but more also subscribe to all three channels, because those three channels are getting rolled out with those brand new shows. And if you have a suggestion for shows, send it to me as well. They may get featured on this channel. From the shores of Santa Monica, California, God bless. Stay informed, stay focused, get all those incredible sums of money you deserve. And happy holidays. They did have the Christmas music on yesterday here in Los Angeles. I thought, for the first week of November, that's pushing it. But if they did it, I'm going to do it.